Hello, welcome back. We are here with our episode 56 of Dysfunctional Gaming's Talking D&D. I am Thundercat0420. Over there to my left is GM Patch Nasty. How are you today, sir?
I'm well. How are you?
Good. We're back after a couple weeks. I didn't feel well a couple weeks ago, and then last week, our GM Patch Nasty here was away on vacation at Universal. How was it?
Wonderful. It was great.
Anything you want to talk about from here?
No. Got nothing
No?
to talk about. It was fun. If you want to see pictures and stuff, find me on Instagram. At GM Patch Nasty.
Okay. Cool. Very good. We are going to be talking about Mind Flayers today. One of Patch's favorite things to do and use in D&D campaign.
Yes.
And also, but before we get into that, what did we talk about last time?
Are you asking the audience? Because I have no idea. That was so many weeks ago because I got nothing. I'm pretty sure it was a subclass of some sort, rogues.
Talked about paladins. It's in the outline I put out every week. It's there in case apparently you didn't read it.
I stick to the bit. I stick to my bit of not remembering what we talked about last week, even though I read about what we talked about last week.
I don't think you read it sometimes. I just think you just honestly don't know.
Stick to the bit.
We talked about paladin subclasses. Where can you find that, GM Patch Nasty? Where can you find it?
Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all the places where you can listen to podcasts.
Very good.
YouTube, Dysfunctional D&D.
There it is. There we go. Great. All those places. Listen to them in your ear holes. Your eyeballs can see them on YouTube. We are also have our VODs on Twitch if they're still available. It's a couple there. Yeah, but without further ado, let's get into our topic, Mind Flayers. Tell me about Mind Flayers, Patch.
Well, I mean, the thing is of nightmares. They're highly intelligent monsters that prey on brains and live in the dark and can read your thoughts without diving too much into the books on them. They're based loosely off your Lovecraftian horrors, like Cthulhu, Shub-Niggurath, all those type of things. It's very, very Lovecraftian when it gets down to it. Mind Flayer colonies are led by an elder brain, which is a giant brain with tentacles that, as Mind Flayers get older, they don't die. They are just absorbed in the collective. They are presented to the elder brain as food for the elder brain. How much have you read about Mind Flayers there, Thundies?
I did the deep dive into Volo's guide today, and
yeah, Volo's is that's the guy.
It's absolutely terrifying, half the stuff in here. I've been listening to the R.A. Salvatore books, and he does such a great job talking about the Mind Flayer colony that the Dritz books that he talks about in that. But yeah, all I know is you don't want to fuck with them unless you have an army, because you're gonna lose if you're by yourself. They will not. They don't relent. They're, like you said, nightmare fuel. And they're super intelligent, and they only eat the brain. They don't eat the brains for the sustenance of eating. They eat the brains for the intelligence. They will eat your brain and take all of the things that you're good at from your brain and use it in their colony. And it gets pushed out to the rest of the colony. The whole colony now knows how to do a podcast because
Yeah.
they ate your brain. They know how to play Batman on PS4 because they ate your brain. They know how to create a character in D&D because they ate your brain. This is the
They're now well versed in.
Yes, they take the stuff that you know and put it to use in their colony, and they'll drop all of the stuff that is non-usable too. That stuff slowly just disappears from the. They take the important stuff and share it with the
It's
rest
almost
of their friends.
parasitic in nature. The way that they get knowledge is they push out a little bit further, consume what's near them, and then continue to push depending on what they get.
So I read a little bit about the history of them, like where they're from the astral plane.
Yep.
They had a huge colony, and they used to basically enslave and feed on the Gith, all of the Gith races.
Yes.
So eventually, the Gith races figured out some sort of tactic to get them back and save themselves from basically enslavement. And the two different Gith races came out of that, the Githyanki and the Githzeri. And they just really learned like some sort of tactic to push the Mind Flayers from the astral plane, and the Mind Flayers ran and went to all the different material planes to feed on other humanoids, and now so that's why the colonies aren't humongous anymore. They're smaller, close-knit colonies because they were pushed out of the astral plane, and there's literally zero notice like of that the Mind Flayers were even from the astral plane. In the astral plane, that's how much the Gith took them out. They destroyed the entire like citadels and everything that they owned. There's no ruins in the astral plane of the Mind Flayers. So some people actually think that the Gith didn't really push them out. They think that the Gith actually that the Mind Flayers just left space-time and went into the future, because there's literally zero evidence that they were even in the astral plane.
Fucking crazy stuff. Because I was like, wait a minute, what? Okay, sure. That's half the reason why. Like, because if as you read that in Volos, it's like, wait a minute, these are time traveling mind control beasts that are super squishy. Go on, my interest is piqued.
And then the Gith now send out hunting parties to the material plane to find the Mind Flayer colonies and try to eradicate them. They are on a full-on war with them, continuously trying to find them and destroy them. So if you ever have a game that you're playing in and your DM mentions a Gith race, there's probably Mind Flayers close by. And the alternate of that, if you hear about Mind Flayers, there's probably Gith nearby trying to find those Mind Flayers. So out of game knowledge, it might be smart to buddy up with the Gith if there's some near you, because they know how to beat those Mind Flayers.
Or at least they get lucky enough. They get lucky enough to survive.
Yeah, they said that I forget what the word was. It wasn't a tactic. It was like they infiltrated somehow and figured out that they had a weakness, and they exploited that weakness to destroy them. So like,
I like how it doesn't mention the weakness though.
Yeah, well, you can't. You can't. You got to make up your own. As a DM, make up your own weaknesses. Yeah. I was reading through this and going, man, these things are frightening. We play in the Friday night game in the War for Garaxia with Vandal as our DM, and he has a Mind Flayer that is a friend, an ally of ours. And I don't think it should be like that now after reading all of this. I don't think we should be friends with that person. They just come off as being an evil race, like through and through. Well, they're there to destroy all humanoids or enslave them for the greater good of their own colony.
So, how far did you get into Volos?
Oh, I read like all 4.5 pages.
So, did you read the thing about how a Mind Flayer talks?
Yes.
So, Newton now, like that's forever canonized in my brain that he does this.
Yep.
So, for those of you, we're gonna skip around a little bit. Mind flayers don't really have a mouth. They have a set of tentacles that cover a beaky maw that they open up to extract your brain from your head. So if they have you grappled, they can puncture the back of your head and then crack your head open like a coconut and turn you into a margarita. Um, but that being said, the physiology, as I'm paraphrasing, of mind flayers doesn't leave them well equipped for typical humanoid speech, and most use telepathy exclusively. At times, however, they find it necessary to speak, such as when casting divine spell, voicing the command word. This is what they do. A mind flayer accomplishes such vocal feats by forcing one of its tentacles down its throat and curling the tip to act like a tongue. That is fucking terrifying to imagine because you just watch the tentacle furl in and then
but
like
you probably still can't even see it because the other three tentacles are covering, so it's like.
And if you're close enough to see the beaky maw, you don't want to be that close. Yeah,
unless you're friends.
No, you should not be friends with a mind flayer. That's just a bad time.
So here's the fun thing about being friends, I say, with quotation marks around it, with a mind flayer. They're more like an ally when it comes to befriending one. As long as they can benefit from the friendship, the ally, the partnership is probably a better way to say it.
Yeah.
As long as they can benefit from it, you can ally
coexist.
and coexist with them. And they say that like they have like the renegades that get out from the colonies and stay far enough away that they're not connected to the hive mind. And so those ones sometimes will try to create their own colonies and enslave a few different humanoids to do the hard work for them to make a building or whatever. And if they will end up allying with races and other humanoids that they could fear that would kill them, basically. So in like drow culture, the Underdark, you might see a mind flayer working with the wizards of the drow culture, because the mind flayer knows that if they mess with the Underdark, the dark elves, the colonies will get destroyed.
Major mothers.
Yeah. So like in the R.A. Salvatore book, they do have a mind flayer that works with the first house of the drow, and he's fearful of his life every time he goes in there because he knows that he cannot, or it cannot, survive without having them. So I think that's pretty interesting as well, that they know that they think that their lives are valuable to them, that they will ally knowing that they can't survive unless they do.
One of my favorite things about mind flayers was Ceramorphous, how they reproduce, because that shit's also terrifying, because you don't have baby mind flayers, so they lay eggs that have these little like fishies that have tentacles that
like
climb
leeches type thing looking with big creepy mouths.
Yeah.
I can show a picture of it.
Yeah, please. But what they do is they latch on, and they go in through an orifice, normally near your brain, so the nostril or the ear canal. And then as it gets bigger, it devours your brain. So your brain is gone. And then within a week, you slowly begin the transformation into a mind flayer. So I think one of the opening cutscenes...
They latch onto your spine after that, and then become your body, and then you become a mind flayer.
if you haven't already seen it, YouTube the opening cutscene for Baldur's Gate 3, because it does like the whole Gith War, and there is a scene with Ceramorphous where you watch a human become. I think he's a Flaming Fist soldier, and he becomes a Mind Flayer, and it's terrifying, absolutely terrifying. But yeah, that's they're not born; they come into being, and it just kind of is scary that way too.
Let's talk. So now we're having the propagation of new Mind Flayers through Ceramorphosis. What happens after you become a Mind Flayer? How do you get connected into that whole colony?
So you become one of the hive. You are an extension of the Elder Brain. If there is an Elder Brain or Ulirathid, depending on
Illiterate, I think it is. Illiterate.
But yeah, so
the Elder Brain's the more important one when it comes to the colony, because the Illiterate doesn't actually control the whole colony really until it moves into its elder form.
Correct.
So talk about the Elder Brain a little bit. Tell me a little bit how the whole colony works through the Elder Brain.
Well, so think your pyramid scheme. This is the top of a pyramid scheme.
That's a great way to put it.
This is the top tentacle. Like, this just goes down. So think the Elder Brain has all of the knowledge, and then you've got, let's say, 2 or 3 underneath the Elder Brain that share similar knowledges. You got one that's very, very well versed in like biology and botany that gains those things from the Elder Brain. And that's how it works as it kind of filters down, and so that's like how they get
the whole like learning how to podcast thing would be.
Yes.
Through,
yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yes. So the Elder Brain knows how to do all these things because it's absorbed everything, and that's like when an Illithid eats a brain, it's shared throughout the whole collective. So let's say you have a whole hive that eats nothing but like elves. They eat nothing but elven brain. You might notice that their way of dress is a little bit better. Their certain tastes for certain things, like they might have like ambient music and like decor. That's because they've collected that culture into their hive mind. But
what if they ate strictly like goblinoid?
I mean, they would pick up traits from goblinoids. Like, think about that. Like, it'd be more like rags. There'd probably be more infighting amongst them. So like what they would eat is more of their culture as they would absorb into it and become Illithid culture in that area. But the Elder Brain can only extend up to 5 miles, which is still a long, long distance.
I also saw that you can extend like the Illithid or Mind Flayers will continually look for more information on how to get that constraint off of the 5 miles and move it into a wider and wider radius. So like that's frightening. Like, they're gonna go out looking for ways to make it bigger and bigger so they can have a larger and more vast colony. That's insane to me.
Yeah, so that's like, if you see, like, they'll push their limits, but the reason why it's pushing its limits is because it was told to go that far. Go to as far as I can, and we're gonna see how far we can push our hive. Because if it moves it, that's another 5 miles it can go. Like, or you can create the Ulitharid, which just turns into another Elder Brain eventually, and then you have like check marks across the Sword Coast where you have these secret like Mind Flayer bases that, because they're not surface dwelling creatures. They like the dark, and that's why if you go into the Underdark, it's fucking terrifying, because that's nothing but caves and dark.
Yes.
Yeah.
They said the Ulitharid is probably the only thing that the Elder Brain like fears. Because Well, the elder brain fears a lot of things. That's why it stays alive, and it does its work to make you fear and blow. It worries for its own life. But when a Illithrid is born, they get very nervous about it because that Illithrid will end up causing many of the Mind Flayers to leave with it, because it doesn't want to be part of that colony, because it wants to be the boss. It doesn't want to be held under an elder brain. So they'll leave and take take them with them, and that will upset the elder brain because they're losing their colony, their hive mind.
And the thing to remember is the elder brain will also it has a perfect recollection of its race's history. So it's a weird dichotomy because it kind of views itself as the hero of its story, because they're trying to save their race and get away from these things, and they're forced into hiding by the Gith.
And then the elder brain will be upset that the Illithrid is leaving, but the Illithrid will also be excited because it will extend the Illithid race out further, and it will continue to make more of them, even though it's not necessarily its colony. It will let the race prolong itself because they moved on.
Oh. And the thing is it's, as it says in this book, it has an intellect utterly incapable of empathy or concern for creatures other than itself.
Yep.
So you are just pawns to the elder brain. And by its twisted logic, humanoids whose brains are devoured by the colony are rendered immortal. Their memories preserved forever in the elder brain's labyrinthian mind. And then we get to the part where the Mind Flayer gets old, becomes infirm or grievously injured, and you get absorbed. Kind of spooky stuff.
And then, but you're absorbed, but you're immortal because you're continuing your information within that elder brain.
Yep. Let's see. Then it goes into survive, control, subversion, basic things. And then Mind Flayer thralls. Oh,
so
being
the
a thrall.
So the thralls that it talks about in Volos, we got the Duragar, we got the Grimlocks, the Kuatoa, Quaggoths, and humanoids. Little bit about the Duragar. The Duragar are the Underdark gray dwarfs. They're a little bit. They're not as nice as regular dwarfs would be. They are known to have a lot of infighting. They're kind of like if goblins and dwarves met, and that's how they kind of live that way. They're dirty. They throw rocks at each other. But the Mind Flayers have hated Duragar ever since the Grey Dwarves revolted against them, but consider their brains a delicacy. Duragar serve as a constant reminder to the Illithids that any creature that served them must be kept dim-witted and easily controlled. The clever Duragar threw off a long ago attempt by the Mind Flayers to rule them, and have been enemies to the Illithids ever since. So that's pretty cool. Pretty nifty information, knowing that the Duragars are a little bit more crafty than you would expect.
I like the little bit they say about the Kuatoa, because Kuatoa are the weird fishy people who don't blink, and they're insane. Nowadays, Kuatoa don't make good throws because their insanity makes them difficult to control. That's where it kind of the risk scenario case. If something's got too much control, if it takes a lot of effort to control something's brain, they're not going to keep you around for long, and they'll just use one of their minions that they make to do their bidding, and you'll just become dinner.
Yeah. A lot of the Mind Flayers thralls are like bugbears, goblinoids.
Humanoids.
Yeah, a lot of them are humanoids, but they're the more dense races. If there's a lot of them, it's easier for them to take because it means more food. So if there's going to be a small humanoid like the goblin, a cavern of goblins, there's going to be more of them. They're going to be more food for them and whatnot. Um, yeah, I know in the R.A. Salvatore book, when they talk about the Mind Flayer colony, they take, when Dritz is captured, he ends up becoming an elder brain massager. He's, because he has nimble nimble fingers, and they're slim and slender. They make good massaging. They make good massagers for the elder brain. So he ends up having to massage the elder brain. And while his companions who he was with all become they become gladiators, the Mind Flayers that bought the slaves, they buy his friends, and they use them in the gladiator pit against each other to fight. So I thought that was pretty cool too, that they do have, like, they bet against their thralls against each other.
I mean, when you'd have to at some point to get your own kicks.
Yeah.
I captured a Goliath. Well, I captured a Goliath. Let's fight him.
Yep. So those were kind of interesting things that I noticed from the book that you can kind of flavor your campaign with. They add those little things in there for them. Let's talk about the different kinds of Mind Flayer monsters.
So there's let's just start off with the first one, the walking brain, the intellect devourer, as I like to call them, Mind Flayer dogs. They're walking brains with legs. They're tiny, and they're typically what you'll see in a Mind Flayer colony, because number one, they're terrifying. It's a little brain with 4 legs that walks around, and 2, if it knocks you out, it can potentially control your brain and then bring you to the elder brain, and then you go through Ceramorphous. There's another one that's in this book that describes something that should never happen, ever. I don't know why the monster design team did this, but it's called a Mind Witness. In the rare cases where a beholder can be stunned and brought to the brine of the elder brain, it can undergo a transformation and become a Mind Witness. And then they now have a beholder who 4 of its tentacles are null and gone, but they turn into like squiddy-like tentacles, and do psychic damage, I assume. I didn't get to read much into it. But it also it's a psychic hub, so it's able to collect and amplify Illithid psionic power. It's some crazy
you're talking
looking
about
shit.
The Mind Witness?
Yeah.
Let's look at the Mind Witness.
It's like a
Mind Witness is if the beholder can be stunned and brought safely to the brine pool of the elder brain, it could be converted through Ceramorphosis into a Mind Witness. Yuck. It has telepathic hub. See, telepathic message can share the message with up to 7 other creatures within 600 feet of it. It has tentacles, bite, multi-attack, and eye rays. All the eye rays of a beholder.
Excluding 4. There is no death ray that I saw immediately. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, telekinetic ray, stunning ray, slowing ray, psychic ray, fear ray, and aversion ray.
So the ones that do damage are... And last but not least, the thing that is born out of the collapse of a Mind Flayer colony, the Neothalid, which is a gargantuan aberration, a slime-covered worm of immense size. A Neothalid is the result of a Mind Flayer reproductive cycle gone horribly wrong. On a rare occasion, an Illithid colony collapses, typically after an external assault, and the elder brain is killed. When that happens, the colony's tadpoles are suddenly freed from their fate. They no longer serve as food and are in return no longer fed by their caretakers. Driven by hunger, they turn into devouring one another. Only 1 tadpole survives out of thousands in the colony's pool, and it emerges as a Neothalid. So gargantuan in size is the size of a dragon or a purple worm. Among the strongest taboos in Illithid society is the idea of allowing a mature tadpole to survive without implanting it into a donor brain. Under normal circumstances, any tadpole that grows larger than a few inches in length is killed by the elder brain. to be food for it or less most of your tadpoles. Any tadpole who survives beyond that state is perceived a threat to the colony, and the Mind Flayers organize hunting parties to exterminate the abomination. Lacking enough intelligence to be detected by an elder brain's power to sense thoughts, Neothalids warrant such precautions. So you can't sense their brain thoughts. But yeah, they're feral. They just eat brains, and they're the size of a purple worm.
Yeah. They have acid breath, and they have tentacles, magic resistance. They can spellcast psionics, confusion, feeble mind, and telekinesis.
It can cast feeble mind once a day.
Yep.
That says enough.
Once a day each. They can each be cast once a day. Confusion, feeble mind, and telekinesis can all be cast at least once a day.
And then it's got the mild creature sense that it has if you're have an intelligence above a score of 4. So everything except for animals.
Yeah. Cool.
No. I mean, nightmares. Nightmares.
Cool if you're a DM.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, wonderful, wonderful. All right, let's talk about their layers. In the layer of a Mind Flayer colony, and the safety and security of its residents is all important. As a result, Illithid layers are always well hidden and well defended. Almost always underground and within easy reach of humanoids and their succulent brains. No two layers are the same. As the resident elder brain drives the form and function of each one, the layer shown in the accompanying map is typical and includes many elements found in every colony stronghold. The rooms that are in there are the brain chamber, where you would keep, probably keep the elder brain, I'm guessing.
Preserve extracted brains and
this is the extracted ones. Yeah. That's even grosser.
Yep. A room full of brains.
All right, we have someone in our YouTube chat that is botting.
Oh, nice.
We have the brain library. Extracted brains that are exceptional in some way are kept in the colony's brain library. Here, the Mind Flayers continue their examinations at a much greater depth. Cool. They got the cleansing chambers. Freshly captured victims are processed in the cleansing chambers. Their gear is removed and either destroyed or kept if it's of interest. Their hair is shaved to prevent parasites, and any sickly ones are disposed of.
Oh, you have the flu? Goodbye.
The common room. The Layer's common room serves as a gathering spot for the colony's thralls. As they complete tasks, they come here to rest, eat, and wait for new orders. Any Mind Flayer in need of assistance can visit this room to obtain the needed muscle power. In the event of an attack, the thralls gather here to arm themselves and ready for the battle. Okay.
Well, yeah.
They got the elder brain. They got yeah, right. I know, man. They got the elder brain resting pool. This is where the elder brain would be. Located in the Layer's resting pool is where the elder brain holds court in its brine pool, protected by a nearly impenetrable layer of glass-like substance that blocks all attacks except for psionic abilities. The elder brain relaxes here and often assembles the colony members to engage in the debates on philosophy and the nature of the planes. This particular colony's elder brain is something of a bully and has been known to destroy Illithids with an outwit it in discussion. It's actually a cool looking little room. I don't know if you can see it.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
You got the guard rooms, which I don't think I need to talk about.
Guards.
You got the Illiterate Quarters. Each member of the colony claims a single room or a small series of chambers as its own and uses the space to conduct its personal research. Pretty cool. You got the library and dissection chamber. That makes sense. You got a prison.
In hand.
You got the tadpole chamber. The elder brain dictates that populations of tadpoles be kept in smaller pools under guard, away from the brine pool. Should the brine pool be destroyed in an attack, these tadpoles stand a better chance of survival.
And that's where you'll get your Neothalids.
Yeah, or your Illiterate. Illiterate. Transformation chamber. The transformation chamber contains a number of small cells. The subjects from promising experiments are kept there. Bombarded with psionic energy in an effort to warp their physical development, most creatures that undergo this process are turned into twisted, cripple wrenches, but a few emerge stronger and tougher than before.
Crazy shit, those layers. Don't like it.
They talk about the ships that they use to drive around the astral plane. They're called Nautiloids. They employ bizarre flying ships called Nautiloids. Able to move through the astral plane, Nautiloids can also transport Mind Flayers between the various worlds of the material plane.
A Nautiloid looks like an enormous conch shell fitted with an exterior deck and a large mass of rubbery tentacles. Ages ago, when the Mind Flayers could fly through these worlds of the material plane without resistance, they used the Nautiloid's tentacles to scour the surface for interesting creatures to take back home for study or feasting. Baldur's Gate 3, literally, you start on a Nautiloid.
I saw it. Okay, I remember seeing that somewhere. I was trying to think where I saw the picture
this is terrifying. Yep, because you get to the little, like, he plucks a string and boom, it like plane shifts. I was like, I don't like this. I don't like this at all.
The most notable feature of a Nautiloid is the ability to move directly from one world to another in the material plane. Normally, travelers must venture to Sigil, a city in the outer planes, and find a doorway leading to the specific world they seek. But Mind Flayers can use Nautiloids to move between worlds without going through Sigil. This means they have been able to spread themselves out in almost every corner of the multiverse. The Nautiloid is a very incredibly rare sight. A colony in possession of one takes great care to keep it hidden. Taken to the sky only out of necessity. Word of a Nautiloid seen soaring through the air travels quickly in almost every world and is likely to attract the attention of the vengeful Githyanki and Githzeri. The Gith hunting party counts a Nautiloid as the greatest prize it can claim, even above the Elder Brain.
And since they don't know how to make them anymore, if they lose it, then they're stuck here forever. Which is still terrifying. I don't know why you would want to take their ship, because then you'd be stuck with a whole bunch of fucking pissed off Mind Flayers who are stuck in your town. That's a bad idea. Let them have their ship and fucking go. Take the smart ones, leave me the dumb ones. We're good.
They use it as a weapon on rare occasions. Perhaps the final phase of a plan to subvert, destroy, or control an enemy. Nautiloids move quickly and are almost impossible to detect in the darkness. A sudden strike with a ship disgorging Mind Flayers and thralls to finish the assault after it lands can reduce an enemy settlement to ruins in a single night. Elminster has this to say about the Nautiloid. Ships that sail between the stars. Next to you will spin tales of a talking hippopotamus that walks on two legs and carries a bow. I asked you to research facts about other worlds, not spend a week in the opium den. But then they actually have a hippo that shoots arrows.
Yeah. Well, they have a gun depending on your setting.
Oh yeah, the gun. Yeah. They usually use it for an escape vehicle. They don't want to use it as
fucking get out of Dodge. Because if you use it as a weapon, it can be used as a shield, and they can't make them no more.
And they also use them as mobile layers
if they're big enough.
Yep. Let's talk about their magic.
Psychic magic. They're psionics mainly.
Arcane magic, divine magic.
Well, yeah, I mean, if they could tell time, they can use divine magic. That's why they went to the future. They're like, fuck this, we're out.
Mind Flayers consider arcane magic to be an abomination, a twisted cousin of psionic power that will be erased from the multiverse when the Illithid's empire rises again.
See? You want to use psionics. Fuck that normal baby magic shit.
The Illithids also acknowledge the existence of divine entities, but it is unusual for any but a deviant Mind Flayer to actively worship such a power.
There you go.
Since they are capable of planar travel, Illithids don't view the afterlife and the other planes in the mythic way that most races do. There's two entities / concepts that are important to the Mind Flayer quality. You got Manzakorian and Alesiang. I can't remember. Ilsensine?
There you go. There you are.
Ilsensine and Mankozarine. Yeah. So you want to talk about them?
Sure. Manzakozarine, or whatever it's called, is complete comprehension of knowledge. It is a state wherein memories, thoughts, and aptitudes are dredged up from one's mind, not at one at a time as needed, but are all laid bare and brought to the fore at once. The perfect memories exhibited by Aboleths have long fascinated Mind Flayers that emulate Manzakorian, leading to frequent conflict between the two races. And then you have Ilsensine, is a broader philosophical ideal that the other one that I'm tired of saying, leading many sages to assume must be more important to the powerful of two gods. Ilsensine represents not just masteries of one's own mind, but a psionic union between oneself and the realm of universal knowledge. Different elder brains have different interpretations of what this state consists of and how to achieve it. Elder brains and Illithids that devote themselves to Ilsensine sometimes pursue ways to dominate gods of knowledge, or even to aspire to supplant those gods on the way to attaining the state of full incorporation of the universal consciousness. So yeah, not cool. Not cool, Illithids.
Not cool. And then they talk about the magic items that...
Well, I mean, these are examples of things that you can give to your players that after they survive a Mind Flayer fight.
Yeah, who knows?
Yeah.
They have the Mind Blade. They have the Mind Carapace armor, Mind Lash, and a Shield of Farsight.
Yeah, that one's kind of mean. So the shield becomes a magic item once the eye is implanted. Wearing upon the Mind Flayer can give the shield to a thrall or hang on to it within its lair. As long as the shield is on the same plane of existence as its creator, the Mind Flayer can see through the shield's eye, which has dark vision out to 60 feet. So you could give the player a really... That would honestly be a fun campaign. And they don't even realize it. I hate doing these things to myself.
Oh, I've been writing, so all this stuff is going into the stuff I'm writing. Every time we talk about something new, it's going in the writing. It's going into stuff.
So the week after, we're talking about beholders, right?
Right? Yeah. The Mind Carapace armor. Any non-magical suit of heavy armor can be turned into Mind Flayers by Mind Flayers into Mind Carapace armor. Only one creature can attune to it, either a specific Mind Flayer or one of its thralls. While worn by any other creature, the Mind Carapace armor functions as normal armor of its kind. To its intended wearer, the armor grants advantage on intelligence, wisdom, and charisma saving throws. It makes its wearer immune to being the frightened condition. So, like, you give that armor to a character at the beginning of the game and be like, this is your armor. You can
never take it off.
If you take it off, you lose your advantage on intelligence, wisdom, and charisma. And your immune to frightened condition will be gone as well. They probably won't take it off, but it also means that they are a thrall to a Mind Flayer that they don't know about yet. Or they do know about.
See, what I would do is I would go the subtle route, because I would have the armor and the shield just like somewhere in like a treasure hoard.
Oh yeah, I was thinking that
and
too.
As soon as they attune to it, the person wearing the armor hears voices.
Yes.
Yep. And then the shield, they'll start to notice that like certain places where they went are just attacked. And they have no idea why and like how, it's all random. But
because they're finding humanoids for the.
this is when they're getting seen. Literally,
Yeah.
he's taking a peek. I'm like, all right, I think I know where this is. All right, let's figure out. Oh, they're gone. Shit. Oh well, because I have a new town. You're all
Yep.
Jeffs.
Yep. I think that would be fun to start a campaign like that, or like you said, give them the armor and they start hearing voices like, "Oh, you found the armor I left for you."
Oh, well, isn't that just
in the R.A. Salvatore books, the way that they like do the telepathy, it's like they just basically are like, "Get over here, I need you over here," and they just get up. The thrall will just get up and walk behind them, like here, like, "Follow me," and that's what they do. Like,
they're dominated. That's dominate person.
They have no, they have no idea what's going on. So it's pretty cool. Pretty cool stuff. Yeah.
You don't get to say no to me. Shut up.
Yeah. And then they do the psionic blast, and you take 20 something damage.
And you're stunned for a minute.
Then they got Mind Flayer augmentations. They augment their thralls with non-magical gear to make them more effective as lair guardians and bodyguards. You've got the Flensing Claws and their Survival Mantle. Flensing Claws. The lizards don't always provide their thralls with normal weapons such as swords and axes. Sometimes they improve their natural capabilities of thralls by giving them new anatomy. Flensing Claws takes the form of articulated digits that extend into long metal blades. That claws are knitted into the flesh and bones of the creature's arms and can't be removed without surgical amputation. So basically, they turn you into like Wolverine.
Freddy Krueger.
Yeah, Freddy
That's what I was
Krueger.
like. Yeah, the glove, and it's like it's just there now.
Each set of Flensing Claws is designed for a specific creature and can't be used by anyone else. A creature equipped with Flensing Claws can use its action to make one melee attack with the claws. The claws deal slashing damage based on the creature's size, 1d8 for small, d10 medium, d12 large, or huge, 2d8. The creature adds its proficiency bonus and strength modifier to any attack roll made with the claws, and strength modifier to damage rolls when it hits a target. Tiny and gargantuan creatures can't be fitted.
Well, I mean, then you also have the top half hazmat suit, as they like to call it, the survival mantle. The carapace-like augmentation encases portions of the wearer's shoulders, neck, and chest. A survival mantle is equivalent to a suit of non-magical half-plate armor, which is, I think, like a 17 or an 18, something up there. Takes as long to don or don off or doff. It can be long. It can't be worn by with other kinds of armor. You can breathe normally in any environment, including a vacuum, and you have advantage on saving throws against gases like cloud kill, stinking cloud, poisons, breath weapons of some dragons. Like I would say, green
dragon.
Yeah.
That's cool. See, now I would go further, and because it says it encases portions of the wearer's shoulders, neck, and chest. But you can don and doff it. So that means you can take it on and take it off. I think I'd go further, and I think they would surgically place this onto the person as well.
Yeah,
like
if they're in the Underdark.
If you're gonna if you're gonna do the Flensing Claws and just they bake those part of them in their flesh, why wouldn't they sew on the hazmat suit onto their thrall and then be like, never take it off? It's parts that it becomes part of them, like a carapace almost, like, you know what I mean?
Kind of like the weird fucking Silence in the Library episode of Doctor Who where they're stuck inside their suits and they're just a skeleton on the inside. I don't like that.
Well,
but yes,
I was thinking that, but they also have in the Brandon Sanderson book, The Way of Kings, there's a race in it that has armor that they're born as warriors, and they have armor that's like part of their skin. So like you would have like shoulder pads, but it's connected to their skin, almost like a bug's exoskeleton or something.
Like a Beetleborg.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. Yes, exactly. Exactly. Let's talk about like what they would collect instead of treasure. What would they have? Like instead of coins
books. Super expensive books.
and high tier magic items that they want to study. Yeah. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, if you want to make money, don't go into an illithid nest. You ain't gonna find much.
Yeah, so and then if they do have any gold or shiny stuff, it's usually to lure out other creatures. Yeah. Yep. They want you to come and get it. Come get this. Hey, you can have this. Come on.
Look, shiny rocks. Come get it.
That's everything I have in Volos other than the stats for them. They talk about the Elder Brain a little bit more and how it has Psychic Infiltrators, Devourer of Thoughts, Hive Mind, and Ego Unhindered, but we've kind of gone over all that with the earlier stuff we talked about. The one thing I want to talk about is the Alhoon.
Of course. Go on.
Well, I want to talk about the Alhoon. I also want to talk about the Illithid Lich. The Alhoon is a Mind Flayer that has either been excommunicated from the colony or has left on their own to study arcane, because we talked about how arcane magic is under them and the only magic that is needed is psionics when it comes to the Mind Flayer colonies. They push these people out, or these people have left to go study and become arcane magic users along with the psionics. They're pretty badass. They do have a lot of great spells, but once again they're just pushed out, and they lose that immortality of being able to be taken in by the Elder Brain when they're old and dying. So
they
instead,
also lose that. They also lose that like Mind Flayer look.
Yes,
because they don't have that like that mucus, so their skin's like dry and cracked, and their eyes are like sunken. Ugh. Continue.
So then instead of becoming immortal with the Elder Brain, they might become immortal as a lich, and a litholich. Once again, the path to true lichdom is something only the most powerful Mind Flayer mages can pursue. Since it requires the ability to craft a phylactery and cast the imprisonment spell, a Mind Flayer lich uses the lich stat block and with the following changes. So they have their own little Mind Flayer stuff that they add in there. But I just thought that was cool. Couple of cool things that you can add in. I mean, you could make a whole campaign around an Illitholich. You could start it off as an Alhoon being the bad guy, and these are who they're going at. They're going after this Alhoon this whole time, trying to find it. And by the end of the game, it has cast its imprisonment spell. It has made its phylactery and became a lich. And now it's an immortal.
You're the reason why it's a
Mind
lich.
Flayer. Right, exactly. You could maybe you get hired by a Gith hunting party to find it, and then they want you to call them and tell them when you find it, but it's too late. You're gonna have to fight it or die.
That's why you gotta have a sending spell always ready.
Yeah, so you got some cool stuff you can do with Mind Flayers. You could have the whole campaign just consist around that. You could push that. Can my barbarian literally fuck someone to death? I mean, that's what Mind Flayers are basically doing to you. Sure, I don't mind.
Certainly try.
Ogre Welby, you could totally do that if you want. I don't know how the DM's going to take it, but who knows? Might have a pretty crazy DM. Yeah, so just just have fun with it when you're doing Mind Flayer fights. Girth Ferguson for nothing. Do you have anything else you want to talk about when it comes to Mind Flayers?
They're normally bad. If a DM throws a friendly Mind Flayer at you, this is the crazy DM right now telling you, don't trust it. Never trust a friendly Mind Flayer. Eventually, you will become food.
True.
Yep. I'm talking to you, Vandal. Yes, I know you're listening to me right now. We're gonna get eaten by Newton. We will become the figs for his Newton.
All of you except for me, because I think he actually likes me.
Well, I'm sorry. Out of all the party, you got Mr. Big Brain, and we are all little brains. So
we could be allies. I can teach him. I just have to teach him it.
Yeah, until he eats Sal, Ironhide, Clementine, and Duke, and the rest of your boat, and then you're the only snack on the smorgasbord.
I jump off and cast Featherfall.
Yep. He casts Levitate. Oh, shit. Telekinesis. Why am I not falling down? Why am I going up slower? No!
I cast it opposite. I cast telekinesis on him and make him go up further. He's pulling me and I'm just going with him.
Delaying the inevitable.
I want to be a Mind Flayer next time I come there. So we're gonna try something this week, something new. We wanted to try to maybe put a little like new player information out there. So we're gonna talk about your stats. We're gonna talk about a quick 1 minute about stats. Patch. Timer starts now.
I didn't even have a timer button ready. Strength. How hard you can squeeze a tomato. Dexterity. How nimbly you can throw a tomato. Constitution. How many tomatoes you can eat. Intelligence. Knowing that a tomato does not go in a fruit salad. Wisdom. Knowing that a tomato is not a fruit. Charisma. Selling a tomato as a fruit in a fruit salad. How's that? I don't know. I ran with tomatoes.
All right, now do it for potatoes.
Potatoes? Okay. Strength. How hard you can squish a potato. Dex. How far you can throw a potato. Constitution. How long you can hold said hot potato. Intelligence. Knowing that baked potatoes are better than French fries. Wisdom. Knowing that a potato is a root. Charisma. Selling a potato as an apple.
I like it. Constitution.
How long you can hold said hot potato.
What stat determines how long I can F a potato? That would be your con.
Constitution. Constitution.
That would be Constitution. All right, guys.
Depends on your DM. You can do a Constitution check, or you can have an Athletics, depending on if you wanted mashed potatoes.
You want to mash them? That's true. All right, guys. What do we got going on the rest of the week? On Friday, we have the War for Garaxia. We're back. We're back and better than ever. I don't know why I said that.
Who's hosting?
We are hosted and GM'd by Vandal Zero. I don't know how well it's gonna come out. It's been a week. We normally after a week it gets real messy and goofy for about the first hour and a half, and then we kind of get serious.
It's been 2 weeks, right?
Has it been 2 weeks?
Did we? No, it's been only been 1 week. Yeah, we didn't play the week I was on vacation. Okay, we did play the week before. Okay, gotcha.
Saturday, we have the War for Garaxia side stories with Malcolm Sandyfingers as your DM. You get to meet all of the new characters that we created a couple weeks ago, and it's going to be I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
Did I make a new character though? Did I?
Yes, named Steve. I'm going to be I'm hoping that I can get it done in like 4 or 5 weeks. I'm hoping that's the end of our thing with us having 2.5 hour sessions. I think 5 weeks should be perfect for what I have planned. So I hope you guys can all catch us then. What do you got going on?
Work tomorrow, and then either I will be watching wrestling in the Discord or I will be playing wrestling on Twitch, twitch.tv/GMPatchNasty. Friday, that's Wednesday and Thursday. Friday and Saturday, you can catch me here, twitch.tv/dysfunctional gaming TTV for the War for Garaxia and the War for Garaxia side stories. You can also find us on Dysfunctional D&D. Make sure you subscribe, like, comment, do all those things, especially hit the bell so you know when we're live, and you remember to read your little note that you have on the side of your monitor. Sunday is something else. I've went to Universal and I've recently rediscovered my love for Harry Potter. So I'm going to probably play the Lego Harry Potter games on stream.
Cool. I have tomorrow I will be playing Unsure. I don't know. I really have no idea what I'm playing tomorrow.
Who's that by? Is that an IP or is that a play game?
Variety day for me. Variety day. Nice. I might go back and try to play some more of that NHL 93, NHLPA 93 to get some more of the retro Chivos there. And then Friday and Saturday I will be here on this station with War for Garaxia and the side stories. And then Sunday night I will be back playing Warzone, being told that I'm using hacks.
You're a hacker.
Hacks. Oh man,
he hacks, folks. Hacks.
Man, I was laughing my ass off at that.
Call him a carpenter because he's a hack.
Don't forget to check us out. We do have a Patreon. We do try to load stuff at least once a month on there for behind the scenes stuff. We have some bloopers on there. We've got a Randy song. We've got a few of the D&D creation days. That stuff. Check us out on Twitter. Follow us on YouTube. We have Instagram, TikTok, all those places. Hover. We load stuff up on all of those. And Dysfunctional Dad's doing a great job with our shorts on YouTube. They're coming out great, and I laugh every time he puts a new one up. So if you
guys got shorts on YouTube? Yeah, of course we do. Go fucking like, comment, subscribe on Dysfunctional D&D. What are you doing here with your thumb in your ass, Jack Horner? Go follow us on YouTube. God damn it.
Next week, Talking D&D on Tuesday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern. We are going to be jumping back into the subclasses, and we're going to be talking about Malcolm Sandy Figure's class, the Wizard. We will be going through all of the subclasses, and we'll get to see a little bit more into what Malcolm does as a wizard. Anything else you want to talk about?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
That's what I got.
All right, I know who we're rating tonight because I requested a game and he has to beat it.
No, you did. First of all, let's just talk about, you did not request game. You requested that this man dig through the garbage to find the game that you wanted him to play.
That I played as a child and still own the cartridge for, that is worth over $100 because it's one of those games.
This fucking game.
So we are going over to a Throg TV, and we'll head to the ending screen.
Ending screens. He's not playing your game yet. Oh, he's playing a kind of good game.
He's trying to. I think he's trying to. I think he's trying to badge it because he's almost there. I'm pretty sure it's a quick, easy badge for him.
Yeah, a lot of the fighting games are. Yeah, a lot of the fighting games are kind of easy when it comes to badging, especially the ones for Game Boy, because this is a Game Boy game.
So does Randy have anything to say tonight?
No, Randy's on strike. The other Randy was going to come, but after screaming on a roller coaster, I can't do the Randy Savage voice for an entire song. Ooh, no, it's too much.
What about Randy
Quaid?
I'm trying to think. What about Randy Taylor? Tim the Two-Man Taylor's son. I almost said son.
Which one was Randy? Is that Jonathan Taylor Thomas or the blonde one?
Jonathan Taylor Thomas.
He had like 3 kids, and they all sounded alike. They all looked. Except one was taller.
It was Simba.
Simba. Yes. Not to be confused with older Simba, who is Matthew Broderick, and that's confusing. Goddamn Inspector Gadget.
Have a great one, guys. Appreciate you guys so much. Have a great night. We'll see
Night,
you again next
everybody.
week. Bye.
Doodles.